Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Here we go. 1 second. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Here we are. Let's give people a chance to get in here. So, we won't jump into news just yet here. Just giving people a chance to get in here. Johnny Walker, welcome in. We're going to start with the stream just here in a second. Just going to wait for some people. Otherwise, we will get started. Let's just run through the things here. TVL Tracini, I can't pronounce that, but it's TVL on YouTube. You can see the name right there. That's a live stream for Ukraine. This is a live stream from Iceland. There's a volcano sort of eruption here. Not really a volcano. It's an underground magma line. It's kind of like a tectonic movement, and there's a lot of it on Iceland right now. You can actually kind of see it shaking here. This could be the wind or another earthquake. There's a city here where there's literally magma spewing up from the ground. This is live from Israel. Not Israel, sorry, Iceland. Too much Israel in my mind. But if you're here to listen to something, here we have it. According to a new military doctrine, Belarus will consider an attack on its allies an attack on its own territory. General Staff of Armed Forces of the Republic of Belarus. Now, that's funny, right? Because yesterday, and we're going to get to that, of course, yesterday there was a plentiful amount of attacks on Ukrainian, on Russian borders. A lot of attacks. I'll tell you what, I mean, they were attacked more than once. They got fucked up. The Russians, there's a fire in Russia right now, in Leningrad, that has been going on. I think it's an oil depot. It's been going on for 10 hours. Okay? There's a fire in Russia, in Leningrad, that's been going on for 10 hours. Just want to point that out. 10 hours it's been going on. Okay? So Russia seems to think to itself that it's winning all the time. It keeps saying to itself, oh, we're winning. Yet they seem to not be able to shoot down drones flying halfway into its fucking country. I mean, we got drones, right? It's like, they say it's the second best military in the world, which is not anymore. It's not. It's really not. You fly drones into the territory of Russia, you can fly 100 kilometers of drones into Russia. They won't shoot any of them down. Because there's a hole in the Russian air defense. They've moved all the expensive air defense equipment to a very special place called Crimea, which they very much like to protect. One area in particular, of course you might know this, it is called the Crimean Bridge, or the Kerch Strait Bridge. That's what they call it, right? Yeah. And that's where most of it is. It's also along this area here. Of course, we have the Sevastopol warm water port, which is down here somewhere. So yeah, I mean, the Russian air defense has been saturated along these lines here. That means that Moscow and Stalingrad, St. Petersburg and areas in here just along the border, like 100 kilometers into Russia, is pretty much open territories. Just fire a goddamn drone into. Now, what does this mean? What does it mean? That's interesting, because if Belarus is serious about considering it an attack on its own territory, that means that the attack on Russia today, would be considered a territorial attack. Now, what I think Belarus is trying to do is trying to deter Ukraine from trying to attack Russia. Russia has obviously told Belarus they're tired of drones falling over their head. So they said to Belarus that they should obviously changed his doctrine, or asked him to try and make Ukraine stop attacking Russian borders. That's the only thing I've been wrapping my mind around this, trying to think about it, because the more drones falling on Russian territory, the more the Russian people are going to realize just how bad of a shape Russia is in, that it's not even able to shoot down drones. And they're going to start thinking, is Ukraine this really great army that can fly drones undetected inside of our own country without the Russians really caring about us? And that's, of course, bad for Putin. So Belarus saying this could be a deterrent measure for Ukraine to sort of be afraid of having a two-front war, which, by the way, I just want to point out, most of the Belarusian equipment that we have, that Belarus has, is a 1950 equipment. They're Cold War systems. Belarus is not a great army. It has heavy sanctions. It's a heavy sanctioned country, and it is not, doing great in terms of anywhere. But, of course, it has a dictatorship. Lukashenko, the leader of Belarus, is the oldest dictator in Europe. It's been there for about 23 years, 24 years. So, of course, it is a total dictatorship. So the people could be told to do whatever the fuck they would need it to do. And that's, of course, a dangerous part here. But, yeah, the front line here along the Belarusian border, which there's lots of picture of that on Twitter. You can probably go find it. It's seriously, it's like there's mines, there are trenches, there are... there's like concrete boxes, those things they use to stop tanks from moving. They have dug holes so tanks can't drive over it. They have dug so much stuff. And for Russia to be able to launch an attack, they definitely would need some Russian help, which Russia, and then we would start seeing influx of Russian equipment, which isn't really happening. Of course, what Russia has given Belarus, right, which is the significant part, is the Iskander system. What is the Iskander system, you ask? Those are nuclear weapons. We now know, and we've been knowing for quite a while, but we have confirmation from Lukashenko, who's told us, Lukashenko, the leader of Belarus, has told the world that Russia has given them nuclear weapons. Russia has given another country called Belarus, or White Russia. Belarus is a translation of White Russia. That, they have Iskander systems which are nuclear capable, and very likely are nuclear capable inside the country of Belarus. So it's not a great time. Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on, and we'll of course bring it up if anything happens. But that's certainly something we're going to keep an eye on. It's interesting to wrap your mind around it, to think. I mean, I think it's a deterrent measure. Obviously, the nuclear weapons in Belarus was a deterrent measure for NATO not to attack or anything like that. It was also for Russia to show its strength in Belarus, or to Russia to show its friendship to Belarus, or something like that. Most of what this is now is a deterrent measure. So, but it is interesting. One last detail is that recently Belarusian soldiers have actually been sent to Russia to start training. So that's also another significant thing. Belarusian soldiers have been sent to Russia, repeat this again, to Russia to receive specialized training. Previously, the Wagner group, the guys who were on the Russian front line, the Wagner, PMC Wagner, were in Belarus for months training the Belarusians, or we still believe they are, but it's much less of a force in there. There are much less of them now in Belarus now. But yeah, they were trained by Wagner. Obviously, some kind of, again, a deterrent from Ukraine and all that stuff. So yeah, Witchy, welcome in. Now, because Witchy is a mod, so we will show her the text here. Of course, we'll do that for you. How nice we are. According to a new military doctrine, Belarus will consider an attack on its allies an attack on its territory. General Staff of Armed Forces of the Republic of Belarus. So that's what's going on here, Witchy. That's my title as well. It's a deterrent measure. It really is. Anyways, let's move on. I've got a lot of details on it, so it's all deterrents. Do I think anything is going to happen? It's It could be. I'll be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure that there's any sort of, sort of measurement that, or right now, any chance of them going for the attack. But I will say this: it would be a strategic move. It would be a strategic move from Russia and Belarus to crush Ukraine, because Ukraine at this current moment is at its weakest. Ukraine right now is at its weakest. The United States Senate, which don't get me started on these guys, they're fucking shit shows right now. I mean, United States is a shit show right now in terms of making decisions and pretty much doing any governing. The United States have pretty much given up on governing their country. They're disfiguring and leaving people to starve and lose the wars and giving people no money, helping out people in no sort of way or possible. Nothing's happening in the United States right now. They've just given up governing their own country. People are dying, but they don't give a shit. So yeah, I mean, Europe is working on it, but I mean, there's a lot on Donald Trump today, and Donald Trump might look like he's going to win, and that means that we won't have more support for Ukraine, very likely, but I don't know. And this is all, it's just such an insane stuff. Anyways, now we're going to move on. We're going to get shit show. We're just getting started? Yeah. I feel like you've been getting started for a while, would you? Anyways, the continued claims, we're moving on to some Middle Eastern news here. The continued claim within the last hours by Houthi-linked sources of several anti-ship ballistic missiles and one-way suicide drone launchers toward the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. So far, there's been no confirmation of this or any other incident from the UK Office of Maritime Trade Operations of the US defense officials. It's also important to note that today a document, sorry, I've been reading too much document. A document came out saying that Iran and the Houthis were the ones behind the attacks in the Red Sea. As if we didn't know that. As if the name Houthis, who are called the Yemen Houthis, the Iranian-backed Yemen Houthis, or Iranian-backed Houthis operating in Yemen. Not the Yemen people, not the Yemen soldiers, the operating Houthis in Yemen, who are supported by Iran, that have taken advantage of Yemen since it's been in a civil war since 2014 or 13, something like that. So yeah, that Iran does not fight. Iran only sponsors. That's something you have to realize nowadays. Iran doesn't fight. It only sponsors. It sponsors terrorist groups, or partisan groups, or whatever you want to call them. Interesting news today, and it's quite a funny one. It's not funny, but it's like it's ironic, or not ironic, but it's strange. But here you have it. The Taliban is reporting that an unknown passenger aircraft has crashed into a mountain within the Sibak district of Badakhshan province in northeastern Afghanistan. The aircraft is said to have been flying between India and Moscow, Russia, when it crashed. Surprise, surprise, a plane from Russia that flew from India to Russia, when flying back from Russia, crashed. I mean, you think Russia is in bad shape? Yeah, guess again, because a plane that flew from India, it made it from India to Russia, but as soon as it had to fly back from Russia, no, it didn't. The Taliban has reportedly sent a team up to the mountain to investigate the crash site and determine if there's any survivors. What those survivors are going to be done with, that is, of course, the next question, but here you have it. Oh, sorry about that. There's a video here. It's not, you can't really see much. As you can see, there's some kind of smoke there. And that's the mountain. So it has to crash directly into the mountain. Now, the chances of there being survivors from a crash, head-on collision. You're talking about a plane flying directly into a mountain. Chances of survivors on that one will be closest to 0. I mean, it's not likely, but there, of course, could be survivors. Never say never, right? funnily enough, right? Instinctively, I think it's funny that, you know, they claimed the plane because of last night. No one did. Yeah, I think it's Indian. It's an Indian passenger. Also no unknown passenger plane flying between. Oh, so no. Okay, so it's an unknown passenger plane. Now, funnily enough, in the video, and listen in the background. Right when this plane is crashing, they said they've sent up a team to rescue him. But listen in the background. What's that? What's that? Is that gunfire? Yeah, that's gunfire. Nah, the PM of India said no. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't hear about that with you, but I've got no idea what it is. But it's the first time. It could be a training area. They're training or something like that. But it's funny to me that in the background offset video, we're hearing gunshots going off. I mean, I know this is Taliban and they fire off shots every single day, but this is interesting. And why are they filming it like this? And it almost looks like he's laying down. Are they fighting? Are they fighting them? I mean, what's going on? I don't know. But like they're firing in the background. Like, why are they firing? What are they firing at? Like, that's my question. But I mean, it's the Taliban. You never know. Could be firing at goddamn pigeons. You never know. Some activity of ISR activity over Baghdad. ISR is probably should shut up before, but I was going for it. There's been intense activity of surveillance drones around Baghdad today. ISR, which is intelligence surveillance reconnaissance, or I think so, something like that, over Baghdad. Of course, Baghdad, which is, shoot up. I can show you here. That is the drone. It has been flying. We don't know what exactly drone or who they belong to. It could be United States. It could be anybody. But of course, Baghdad. I don't read Iranian. Oh, sorry, not Iranian. Iraq. Sorry. It's not Iran. It's in Iraq, and I don't read Iraqi or whether this is. But it's some of these areas here. it's one of these areas right here. I think it's that. I think that's Baghdad. But there's been intense surveillance drone surveillance over this area, which is not uncommon, by the way. By the way, in the United States right now, I'm keeping an eye on a certain plane called Doomsday Plane. This is a Doomsday Plane. Just want to say that. It has an empty call sign, and it is a Doomsday Plane flying over the United States. So that is interesting. We got a C5. We have a lot of C5 Galaxy, which is these guys are the biggest planes in the United States arsenal of planes. Not like arsenal and weapons, but they're the biggest cargo planes. I think not in the world, but in the United States. Actually, Russia operates the biggest cargo plane in the world, which is ironic. Well, I mean, not ironic really, because they're big and they have the biggest cargo plane. It makes sense, right? Statement from the former Iraqi Foreign Minister Hossein Sebari regarding yesterday's attack by Iranian-backed forces on Al-Assad airbase. The American response to the intense missile bombardment on Al-Assad base in Anbar and the human damage caused by some state factions is coming, directly targeting those who carried out this attack. Stay tuned. This is not information as much as analyzation of those working to drag Iraq into this raging regional war. I can't tell if this guy is good or not, but the statement that I was reading, I realized this guy, I don't think he's a former minister, by the way. I couldn't tell because I don't know who he is. Probably not the best guy ever. Don't have no idea who he is. But he's right about what he's saying. I mean, the American response to the intense missile bombardment on the Al-Assad base in Anbar and the human damage caused by some state factions is coming. He's right. I mean, long unless somebody in the Middle East who actually, says something sensible. I mean, a minister that says something sensible. Where's that guy? Why can't we get that guy to lead? You know, he's actually worrying about a regional war. These guys want a regional war. Here's what you don't get. These guys want a regional war. Okay? These guys, the Houthis, the Iranians, want a regional war. Not only do I think Russia has a lot to do with it, Russia wants to drag the United States into a war, as well as Iran wants to drag the United States into a war in the Middle East to deter any operations in Ukraine. That's something you have to think about. I mean, that's checkmate right there. If the United States goes to war in the Middle East, right, and the EU can't support Ukraine alone, which it should be able to, and we're figuring it out. But if the United States goes to war in the Middle East, it's not going to be supporting Ukraine at the same time. Okay? That's not going to happen. I mean, obviously, this is a direct plan from either Putin or Iranian leaders to drag it in. I mean, we know that Iran and Putin is working together. We know that this is something that's been happening, and ongoing talks between these two countries have been continuing. Is this a big plan from not only Putin, but the Iranian and the terrorist groups in these areas to try and drag the United States into a war that's going to bog down a lot of materials and war equipment? Very likely. Very likely. 5 Iranian soldiers have been reportedly killed in a shooting by another soldier against the army barracks in the city of Kerman. Again, the city of Kerman was actually the area where there was a bombing that killed like 50 people, and now 5 Iranian soldiers have apparently been killed by another soldier. It's also not a lie that the Iranian people hate the Iranian government. That's not a lie. Gaza update. We actually have an update here from Gaza. This is directly from War Mapper. The reason why I'm bringing it up here, I just wanted to tell you about War Mapper here. The IDF has made minor expansions to the area's operations in Khan Yushin, though expansions is slower than in previous weeks, although combat operations have reduced in the north. Satellite images confirm the IDF remains present and active in the area. The whole northern part has been taken by the IDF forces. The southern part is what's remaining, and you can see they're actually getting very close to taking much of what they need to take. So they're ready to fully occupy Gaza. That's what they are. They're fully occupying Gaza. It's going slow, and the reason why they're saying it's getting slow, I mean, it's kind of like when you have Russians, right? The less areas the Russians control, the more compact these Russian soldiers get. That's the thing people don't think about. The Russians have a lot of things. They use volume over quality, right? They've always been quantity over quality. If you have a lot of soldiers in one area, it's like a shield wall of just fire and guns and all that. It's going to be hard to break through. The closer compact soldiers or, people get, the harder it's going to get to break through, because not only do you have people, there's probably also civilians in these areas here, maybe, but the closer these Hamas fighters or whatever they are getting packed together is, the more intense the fighting can become, and the harder it can get to break through, because they're so tensely together, and that sort of thing. But how many Hamas soldiers is left is beyond me, because I don't know. Here's a final picture here. We can check it out for ourselves later. By the way, War Mapper on Twitter. This is his Twitter name right there. War Mapper. Just want to check that. Go check them out. They actually do some good stuff. Yeah. Hezbollah has also been recorded as to be part of the attacks in the Red Sea on commercial ships, which is no joke. I mean, we knew that kind of. I mean, people didn't really know that, but they are not saying that Iran and Hezbollah are behind the Houthi attacks in Red Sea. Routes reported citing source. According to the agency, Iran not only finances, again, told you. I told that, and this is, I read this today, but I told you this about 1 million times before this came out. And this is an article from Routes, and I told you this 1 million times before it came out. arms and trains the Houthis, but it's also directly involved in planning attacks on the ships in the Red Sea and provides intelligence to the militias. Officials, Iran has repeatedly denied its involvement in the attack of Houthis in the Red Sea. There you have it. I've told you this. Iran doesn't fight its sponsors. And I've told you that, and I've told you so many fucking times. People are like, oh, you know, how can you know that? Because that's how the Middle Eastern work. That's how they've always worked. They get people to do it. They don't do it themselves. That's how it's always been. I mean, that's the same thing about your Europeans as well. I mean, not directly all the way through our history, but a lot of our history has usually been getting people to do it for us. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, you know. I mean, that's the history throughout our whole entire idea, you know. So, yeah. Here's a funny Trump clip because he's a idiot. Sorry, but not sorry. Trump called Hungarian PM Orban a great man and a great leader in Europe. Some people don't like him because he's too strong. It's good to have a strong man to the head of the country, the former US president said. Earlier, Trump called Orban, a great leader of Turkey. Turkey is not Hungary. It is far away from Hungary, and the leader of Turkey is Erdogan. Here you have it. This is how deluded, this is how ridiculously out of touch Donald Trump is with the real world.
There's a great man.
Wait, what? Can you say, what the fuck? It's not showing up on the screen. Can you see that? On my screen, it's not like showing up. What the fuck? Oh, it's not showing up. Is this showing up? What the fuck? Wait, hold up. I think it's... Yeah, I think the background here froze. Hey, give me a second, guys. It's just the background froze for a second. Let's give it a second. What the fuck? Just not doing stuff. You see that? He's just not doing shit. Like, what the fuck is going on? I got a new screen right there. Remove. 1 second. I gotta add the new screen here. Now it's just not doing shit. Like... Well, hold up. If I do this, you can see that. Right? Yeah, you can. But that's not what I want. Why can't it show the front screen? Let's try and add the front one back. Here we go. You should be good now. You see now? Yeah, I think we're back now. It just didn't show up for a second there. That was weird. No, I think, yeah. I think we're good now. Just to check the screen here for a second. All right, now we're here. Now we're here. Good. Here you have it.
There's a great man, a great leader in Europe, Viktor Orban. He's the prime minister of Hungary. He's a very great leader, very strong man. Some people don't like him because he's too strong. It's nice to have a strong man running your country, but he... There's a great man.
Oh my god. Yes. 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 Oh my god, Trump, yes. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but it's like, how can you believe shit this man is saying? I mean, it's like, I hate to be that kind of guy that says wake the fuck up, because I hate when people say wake the fuck up. Like, wake up! Like, like, come on. I'm not, that's not what I'm going to be saying here, but like, seriously, guys. Rocket alert now from the town of Shermora in northern Israel on the border with Lebanon. Lemon. Lemon. Oh shit, now I gotta do the, right. I gotta do oh shit, yeah, right. Because now everything is behind it. Oh god. Yeah, I gotta do re-imaging, stuff like that. Well, I guess you're just gonna have to, we're just gonna do it from now. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just because sometimes I cover this lineup here. But I guess it really does not matter. You can add an image. We'll figure that out. Well, that's alright. Because the screen didn't capture stuff for a second. It was just gone. Like nothing was happening. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Alright, let's move on here. The Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, announced his withdrawal from the U.S. presidential race. The politician withdrew his candidacy in favor of Donald Trump. Freddie, welcome in. Trump reportedly said that he was honored by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' endorsement, telling Fox News Digital he is looking forward to working together with him to beat Joe Biden. Yeah. So Ron DeSantis put out a big video on Twitter. I shared it on my Twitter if you want to go watch it. It's like 4 minutes long. He put out a video that's 4 minutes long telling people why he's quitting the campaign. Now, I'm not personally going to go watch a 4-minute video with Ron DeSantis or whatever his name is because I can't tolerate listening to him for about a second. So I'm really glad he did not become a president because I can't tolerate listening to him for about a second. He's disgusting. Anyways, the Washington Post reports the U.S. is now crafting plan for a sustained military campaign targeting Houthis in Yemen. U.S. officials believe the operation won't bog down the military for years like in Afghanistan, but that a sustained bombing campaign will be needed. So this is from Vicegrad. Vicegrad is a very big news source, pretty trustable. And I read this earlier today. Yesterday, I was reporting to you guys that Orange Defender actually put out and said that this was happening, that they were crafting plans for a so-called sustained military campaign. The United States, Washington, is crafting plans for a military campaign targeting the Houthis in Yemen. U.S. officials believe that the operation will not bog down for years, but they are saying it could bog down for some time. This is not directly war, but it is certainly very close to what I'd say war is. Keep an eye on that, because it's going to be a hell of a time. It's going to be a bad time. That's what I'm saying. Not just for the Houthis, it's going to be a very bad time for the Houthis, but it's certainly going to be a bad time for the American soldiers. I mean, they've fought in the Middle East before, and it didn't work that time, so fighting in it again probably won't work this time, just being honest. But I see the reason why they're doing it, but it also seems to be quite, it's an intense bombing campaign. That's what they're wanting to do. An intense bombing campaign. So it might not be boots on the ground, but a lot of bombing. Vladimir Zelensky, we're moving on to some Ukraine and Russia news here now. Vladimir Zelensky personally invited the head of security service for Ukraine, Vasyl Malayuk, after information about surveillance of journalists. The president announced the interview. This is an interview with British TV channel Channel 4 News. Zelensky stated, in his opinion, the fact of secret surveillance of journalist investigating team should be thoroughly investigated. So apparently there's been some kind of investigation into Zelensky or something. I don't know, but yeah. something, I don't know what happened there, but some kind of investigation is ongoing into Ukraine about some journalism. Keep an eye on it. I wasn't completely aware of what they're talking about, but we'll take a look at it. Ukraine has already proven that the legend about the power of Russia is sobble bobble. It's a soap bubble. Sorry, sobble bobble. That's not even words. It's a soap bubble. That's Budanov. Budanov is the chief intelligence in Ukraine. In an interview with the Financial Times, the head of the GUR of Minister of Defense of Ukraine described the weak points of the enemy, in particular Russia's losses, as many of even more people than it can recruit. The aggressor spends more weapons and ammunition than he can produce. Moscow has difficulties with weapons quality control. As well, this is directly from Budanov, and I've been saying this, again, something I have been saying. Russia, the aggressor, spends more weapons and ammunition that they can produce. Again, Moscow has difficulties with weapons quality. Not a secret. We all knew that. Russia losses or even more people than it can recruit. I don't know what that's a bad translation right there, but whatever. But this right here is the interesting part. If we were to simply help Ukraine sustain a military campaign for just about a year more, or in a certain amount of time, Russia will lose equipment. It will not have enough equipment. It is spending more weapons, ammunition that they can produce. They're spending more than they can produce. That's good, because that means that they can't do shit. Multiple explosions and fire were reported overnight in Russia, rear due to alleged long-range Ukrainian strikes. The Air Force reported the Russian air defense is sufficient on the front lines and Crimea, but not on Russian soil, and more. That's what I hear. And more, right? As well as I mentioned that earlier. I said that earlier. And we were talking about Belarus being a deterrent because of this. I mean, the second best army in the world has a lot of air defense on the front line, but it can't protect its own city. Much like, I mean, it couldn't protect its own city in World War II as well. I mean, that was fucking graveyard. You know, Soviet Union doing after World War II was goddamn fucking graveyard. You know, but it's a great time. It's a good time. Something you Americans might find a bit annoying here, but I'll read it out for you. Alaska is ours. The U.S. should treat Putin's new declaration as an act of war. Putin has signed an order So Putin has signed an order insinuating, I can't pronounce that, the sale of Alaska of the United States in 1867 was illegitimate. Right? So wrong, illegal. Time for Alaska to prepare to defend their land. Not gonna happen. Here's the provocation. Here's the fucking Christ. Here's the letter. Here's the thing. Here's the thing he wrote. Okay. Order of the President of Russian Federation. In accordance with subparagraph, there you have it, of one of paragraph 2 of Article 785 of the budget. He said this was on in January 2024. You see the bottom here. January 18th, 2024. Of the budget code of the Russian Federation, designated federal state unitary enterprise or something like that. Enterprise for property management abroad of the administration of the President of the Russian Federation as a recipient of the subsidy provided from the federal budget for financial support for the costs associated with the search for real estate of the Russian Federation, the former Russian Empire, the former USSR, the proper registration of the rights of Russian Federation in relation to the existing federal real estate and the found real estate of Russian Federation, the former Russian Empire, the former USSR, and legal protection of this property. So he's saying that because in the Russian Federation they used to own Alaska, they now have a provincial claim to owning Alaska, which is like it's like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really is. They sold it to America for a sum of, I think it was $7 million at the time, which was quite a lot of money in 1867. They sold it in America about a sum of $7 million, which was a lot back then. And $7 million was a lot, but it was a lot of land. And then, of course, now there's oil. America's really recently, or not just recently, but some time ago, found some oil in Alaska, so they're probably not going to give it up. And I also just want to point that out. People say, oh, they're going to have that Alaska has to get ready for its defense. Like, no, okay? It's because we're buying into this Russian agenda. Putin knows that the more he just signs and become, the more rhetoric he does, all these, European fucking cowards thinks that oh, Russia's going to attack us. No, he's not. Yeah, but it's the same thing. Mexico is not going to mess around with the United States. Mexico is not going to mess around with the United States, as well as Russia is not going to mess around with Alaska or the United States. So relax, okay? It's not going to happen. It's just I don't want to bring it up there, but yeah. Anyways, some better news here. We're gonna get some news about the recent Russian bombing and stuff like that. But we're the bombing in Russia. But we're gonna have a little bit of a shorter video here, but it's an evening address. 2 minutes and 42 seconds here from Zelensky, giving us some news about it. Watch in.
Дорогі українці і українки, завершиться ще один тиждень цієї війни. І наших активних дій, нашої оборони. Від початку лише цієї доби вже близько 60 боїв. Найбільш інтенсивно Авдіївський напрямок, також Бахмутський, Мар'їнський, Куп'янський, Південь нашої держави. Було більше ніж 50 російських обстрілів тільки із реактивних систем залпового вогню, а ще десятки авіаційних та ракетних ударів. За один цей день російські нелюди обстріляли понад 100 міст-містечок наших сіл українських у 9 областях від Чернігівщини до Сумщини, Миколаївщина, Кіровоградщина, наші області. Особливо жорстокі російські удари по Донеччині. На жаль, є поранені, є загиблі. Мої співчуття усім, хто втратив рідних, близьких. За весь цей терор Росія буде відповідати і повинна відповісти. Без рішень Москви про початок цієї агресії, цього терору були б живі зараз тисячі і тисячі людей. І тому так важливо притягти Росію до повноцінної, справедливої відповідальності на усіх рівнях. Навіть індивідуальному, щоб кожен воєнний злочинець відповідав, кожен терорист. І на рівні всієї держави-терориста, її активами і можливостями. Росія повинна відчути і запам'ятати назавжди, що найбільше від агресії втрачає саме агресор. Я вдячний кожному, хто наближає відповідальність Росії всіма способами, і воєнними, і санкційними, і юридичними, і політичними. І ми вже визначили наші українські пріоритети на наступні тижні, чітко бачимо завдання і по пакетах, які посилять наші позиції на фронті, і по політичній взаємодії з партнерами, і по тому, що потрібно для фінансової стійкості України. Особливий напрямок – це Євросоюз, відносини з найближчими сусідами. Ми готуємо більше взаємодії та нову комунікацію, нові важливі перемовини. Я вдячний усім, хто так само вірить зараз, що російський терор має програти, як і торік, і в 22-му році. Усе, що посилює Україну та захищає наших людей, додає міцності кожному в Європі, кожному в світі, хто цінує міжнародне право. Усе, що послаблює Росію, повертає війну додому в Росії, додає стабільності міжнародним відносинам, рятує світ від ще більших криз. Я дякую всім, хто воює та працює заради України. Я дякую всім, хто рятує життя українців. Слава Україні!
Slava fucking Ukraine. Yeah. In other good news for Ukraine, the Novatech plant located on the coast of the Baltic Sea stopped all technical operations after an attack by Ukrainian long-range drones. Bloomberg reporting. The shipment of oil the shipment of oil to tankers was also completely stopped. got the picture of it. It's the area where they apparently they just stopped all operations. These are areas where they stopped the operations. I think it's right there. I actually don't know exactly, but I do actually have a video from the area. From Jason Smart. This guy. And then this guy right here, right? This is fake news. Stop mixing and everything up in the petrol world. Either you don't understand the sector and you can be praised a non-event, or else don't tweet at all and ask who can help. This is unprofessional. Short understanding of terminal is a bit of a read rapid from Tash. It's short to that. Blah blah. So this guy seemed to think, I don't know who this guy is. He's like, what's that? Look at that. The committee investigation. My life, energy, and metals. Modern life will need more atoms and molecules, not more bits and bytes. Not investment advice. From Switzerland. Entrepreneur. Oh, can't wait to hear about you. He's got a Ukrainian flag in his goddamn thing, and he believes this is wrong. Now, I can't confirm or deny the fact that this is wrong image, but it does appear to be from the area. I've seen what looks like something of the same area there. As far as I understand, the fire that has been taking place at that area is still ongoing. It's been going on for about 10 hours. Now, it might be somewhere else, but I think it's around. I think it's actually in Leningrad. This was in St. Petersburg, but yeah. There's a fire in Russia right now that's been going on for 10 hours because of a Ukrainian attack. It's a good time. It's a great time. It's a great time. Can I do something? You give me a second real quick. Just gotta figure something out here. Oh. Sorry about that. I was just thinking maybe we could do this. Does that look stupid? I just want to cover up that. That actually looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Kind of makes it look a little different, doesn't it? Right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, we don't want it to cover the channel name, of course, or logo. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so moving on. The F-16 Fighting Falcon, long begged for by Kyiv since the invasion began, will enhance the Ukrainian Air Force capacity to assist group troops and intercept Russian bombers, safeguarding against potential strikes on military or civilian targets. I've got a bit of a article here. It's a very long article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's a section in it which I want to read here. What was that? Here we have it. Expected delivery. The first batch of F-16 planes may be coming from the Netherlands Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte on December 22nd said that his government started preparing the initial 18 fighters, while a spokesperson from the Dutch Defense Ministry told NOS that more jets may be delivered at a later date. There's not been updates since. Denmark has pledged to supply 6 planes by the end of 2023, which they didn't do. But the delivery date has been reportedly pushed back 6 months. Copenhagen said it will be giving 19 planes in total. Danish and Dutch officials have said that the delivery schedule depends on readiness of Ukrainian instructors and pilots, among other factors. Belgian defense minister has promised several jets which would likely have arrived in 2025. And we read that again, 2025. According to Norwegian broadcaster NRK, Norway plans to send between 5 and 10 planes Fucking cheap shit. But neither the total number of delivery schedules has been fixed. Expert told Kyiv Independent that Ukraine will likely have at least some F-16 operational in late spring or early summer. Late spring or early summer. Very likely to have F-16s in late spring or early summer. Holy fucking shit. Are you fucking slow? Like, how fucking long does it take to teach somebody how to fucking fly a plane? Or people say, oh, it's difficult. Shut the fuck up. I've heard about people who can learn to fly a plane in fucking 2 months. Now, I get this is a fucking jet, but can't you fucking speed this process up? Like, really? 2025. You've been begging for these planes since 2022. Like, it's 2022. That was when they started to deliver this. It's been a whole fucking year, and I haven't given it a goddamn single F-16 has not come to goddamn Ukraine yet. Holy fucking shit, they're slow. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Learn. Like, if it's that fucking hard to learn, they already fly planes. These are Ukrainian pilots that already flew planes before this already fucking happened. They already know how to fly jet planes. How much fucking time can it take to fly a fucking jet plane? Holy fucking shit. You fucking Europeans are so fucking dumb nowadays. I swear to God. I'm European, and I'm fucking ashamed to say it, but most European fucking leaders are fucking dumb nowadays. So fucking dumb. Dumb in the fucking head. They're born to be fucking dumb. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's been a fucking year, and you're talking about waiting another fucking year. Calm down. Calm down now. You gotta calm down. But I'm mad about it because it's fucking ridiculous. Where it's been a fucking year. Like, wake the fuck up. It's not gonna happen. And now I'm saying it. Now I'm saying it. I hate saying it, but I'm saying wake the fuck up. I hate saying it, but I'm saying it. Anyways, moving on. Sorry. On January the 19th, this is, by the way, this is British intelligence update. We always are trying to get these. On January the 19th, 2024, the Ukraine General Staff reported that there were 27% increase in Russian assaults on the front line over the previous day, with 81 airstrikes and 45 multiple rocket attacks. Additional data from the Ukrainian General Staff comparing the 14th to 18th January 2024 period with the previous 5 days period support this uptick in Russian assault. Over these 5 days periods, and the number of military vehicles losses by Russia increased by 88%, and the number of Russian tanks lost increased by 95%. 95%. The number of Russian casualties over the same period also increased by 15%. This data points towards a steady increase in intensified Russian offensive activity across the front over the past 2 weeks. A key enabler for this is highly likely the freezing ground conditions, which also allows cross-country movement of armored vehicles. Ridiculous. But yeah. Picture. This is the swindling support for the Russian control here in Russia, but here you have it. So there's no heating in Voronezh or something like that, and people are now lining up on the phrase "Putin see help" for some reason. Putin see help. So they don't have heating, they have nothing, and now they're asking Putin help. And they, the more this is happening because Russia is falling apart, the better. The more people realize that Putin is not this glorified leader, the more they're gonna realize that holy shit, we need to figure something out. We need to get a new leader, and that's good. Probably. Russia's losses as of January the 21st. 760 troops today, 11 APVs, 14 vehicles and fuel tanks, 10 tanks, 19 artillery systems, 2 UAVs and 1 MRS, 3 special equipment and 1 anti-aircraft system. Great times. And they keep going up. Look at that. That's going to start hitting 12,000 very soon. That's heading towards 400,000 soldiers, by the way. 400,000. That's about to get there for the 10,000. We're getting towards the 9,000. Not that far away now. It's goddamn crazy. This one's going to be heading towards 7,000 now. Almost 1,000 here. That's crazy. I mean, those numbers, you think those numbers are small. Those numbers are not small. In military layman's, those numbers are not small. Uh, in Finland, the production of ammunition for the armed forces of Ukraine may be suspended for some reason. Again, Europeans being fucking stupid in the head, or I don't know what this is, but I read this article here and I haven't read it yet, but you know, here you have it. In Finland, due to strikes, defense industry enterprise that can produce ammunition for Ukraine may come to a halt for 2 days, according to reports by Yell. Strikes are expected to take place of 4 Namo factories involved in the production of ammunition and gunpowder. The CEO of the company, Ramu Helsmaki, believes that the planned protest on February the 1st and February the 2nd may affect the supply of arms to Ukraine. The stoppage and the return of the design capacity for the factory producing nitrocellulose in Vintarviov, which produces powder, will make more than 2 days. Will take more than 2 days, right? The head of Namo, also added that the factories do not directly supply ammunition to Ukraine, but Finnish Defense Force purchased them, and then the export arms goes to Ukraine. There are 450 employees at Nammo factories and around 350 employees to join the strikes. At the same time, the Finnish Minister of Defense claims that the suspension of the enterprise will not affect the quality of deliveries to Ukraine. It's reported that the union previously announced the extensive strikes that will affect several industries. Approximately 6,000 people will participate in nationwide action. The reason for the strikes is the government's labor market reform program. Why the fuck is it that these Europeans, all of a sudden, they have like this idea? Listen, everything is perfect right now. Everything is perfect in our country. But we have to get a labor reform program that hurts laborers and workers. Yes, because we don't need it, but I'm a new politician and I want to make it in this world, so therefore I'm going to benefit about 1% of the world who's telling us that we need it. There's 1% in our country that's telling us to get this new reform in? Okay, but the other 99% of the country is telling us not to? Or the workers who work in the field that you're about to devastate what your new reform is telling you, please don't? Oh, that doesn't matter, because if 1% tells you, that means you can get some votes. Wow. Fucking ridiculous. Oh yeah, here we have it. The fire at the Port Justa Luga in Leningrad region has been going on for almost 10 hours. Already at the moment, the fire is almost eliminated. Nova Tech terminal was seriously damaged. The terminal was used to process fuel for military purposes. There you have it. A fire at the terminal caused by a drone attack will significantly complicate fuel logistics for Russian military. According to the Ukraine mass media, the SBU is behind the attack on the terminal. The fact that they just come out and say, yeah, we did it, is fucking hardcore. But who else was going to do it? By the way, take a look at the fucking factory. That's ice, by the way. No, it's not. What, for a second, it's ice. That's obviously not ice. Is it ice? Wait, no, is it ice? I mean, I think it's because they've been spraying it with so much water. Yeah, it is ice, yeah. I think it's been spraying so much water around it, right? And that water's not frozen while they've done it. So it's now they've just, instead of like turning off the fire, which they are doing, they're also covered in ice. That's just amazing. Oh, great times, great times. That's definitely ice. I mean, that's definitely ice. So to put it out, they've just covered it up in goddamn ice. You know, from the water spraying on it and freezing. Because it's freezing in the area still. And it's an oil production site, so obviously it's going to start leaking a bit. In other news that I found pretty interesting here, but we'll go for it. An Arctic zombie virus in Siberia could spark terrifying new pandemic, scientists warns. The threat of outbreak from microbes trapped in permafrost from millennia raised by increased Siberia shipping activity. By the way, an Arctic zombie virus is not a zombie virus. It's not going to turn people into zombies. We don't know if it's gonna, but it's probably not. It's not gonna turn people into zombies. It's gonna. It's a virus that has been surviving and then sort of comes to life because because it gets unfrozen. That's what a zombie virus is. It's not it's not like the Walking Dead virus. But that some people might think that when they hear zombie virus. But actually, I have a article on it. How much was that article? It's a bit of a long one. We're not gonna read the whole thing, but as far as I understand, humanity is facing a new pandemic threat. There's a picture of it. It looks fucking terrifying as well. Scientists have warned ancient virus frozen in Arctic permafrost could be the one day released by Earth warming climate and unleash a major disease outbreak. Yeah, if you want to go read this to understand more of it, I guess I can share it in the chat. But I mean, it's only if you really want to check it out. It's not that much of a thing. Just to understand what it is, that's of course a problem. It is of course an issue. Something that people are talking about, so don't miss out on it. Islamist, some African news, which is also something. The Islamic militias on the move in Nigeria. There's a growing sense in the country that lawlessness is spreading across the land and now reaching regions previously spared by Islamic violence, or Islamist, not Islamic. Here you have some of these pictures here directly from Nigeria. These are images of soldiers moving around. He's got an RPG. He's got, it's also an RPG or some kind of rifle. Well, it looks like some kind of rifle. That's an AK-47. Got a shotgun, it appears. There's some pictures that I'm not. Yeah, you get the picture. I'm not gonna show you the whole thing because I didn't watch through it and there could be some bad things throughout. So I don't know. But there's not really. They just show a lot of people moving in actually. So I'm gonna go watch it. It's retweeted on my channel right now. So go watch it on Twitter if you want to go see that. The whole thing doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's it. I've got no more on my document, but we're going to move on over to watch some flash news here to see if there's anything in sense of, like, stuff. 1 second. No, he's not uploaded for 2 days, apparently. Don't know why. Yeah, so not on that one. There's nobody. Flash News hasn't updated their lately ones, or have they? Maybe it's on YouTube. It could be on YouTube. One second, guys. But they had a YouTube channel. Swear to God, they had a YouTube channel. Maybe they don't. Well, fuck's sake. Do they don't? A Flash News? No, that's not that one. Well, never mind. They don't have it up then. They just haven't uploaded that for 2 days. It just doesn't fucking matter. We'll figure it out. No, but I mean, like an Arctic zombie virus released by Siberian defrosted snow would be. I mean, if you didn't think times were bad enough, It's gonna get really worse. But I tell you what, if they could release it over, if they could release it to all the Russians, and I mean that would be great, you know. But you know, killing half an whole population is also not that great. So. Chief of Ukraine Budanov in the Financial Times. GUR strikes inside Russia irritate Western partners who are afraid of nuclear retaliation, but everything we've done we will continue to do. Yeah, and that's like, yeah, look at that. Are afraid of nuclear retaliation. And it's true. We are afraid of nuclear retaliation because we're fucking cowards. That's what we are. We've always been fucking cowards. You know? Fucking Europeans. They're not gonna fucking nuke us, okay? I'm European, so I've said it before. They're not gonna fucking nuke us. Russia's not gonna fucking nuke us, okay? Like, be honest with yourself. Like, stop thinking they're gonna retaliate. The only reason why, here's the only reason why. They're just using they're gonna nuke us as a way to not give away all their fucking equipment, because they're afraid that if they give away enough equipment, then money will go up and nobody likes them. But it's fucking ridiculous anyways. Mount Marapa erupts in Indonesia. Look at that.
Merapi, bos. Oke. Merapi erupsi.
I mean, that's just all over. That's just all over there. Look at that. It's all like a giant plume of sky there. By the way, if you didn't know this, there has recently been released a worldwide there's been a release of a worldwide volcano alert that came directly from scientists and meteorologists or whatever they call them. It's serious. This is, I mean, you know, you take a look at it from the ground, but it's far. You know, the tectonic plates are really moving lately.
Dulur-dulur. Erupsi.
It's serious. It's like how they're just, you know, like, yeah. Oh, it is nothing. Let's just laugh it off. This is nothing. This is nothing. Yeah, you get the gist there. Go check it out. Retweet it right there, right now. You can watch the full video if you want to. We are gonna watch something else. We're gonna watch something that is plaguing the United States at this current moment, and I want to share this with you because I for one has been predicting, not only saying this, but I've been saying it for a while. Pointing it out for a while. And here you have it. This is the Arctic freezing conditions of the United States of America.
Tonight, dangerous and bone
Listen to the wind as well. Like, listen to the wind.
Weather gripping much of the nation. This is what it looks like along Lake Michigan.
That lake right there is like on the edge of freezing. You can see that.
Again, the lighthouse in Grand Haven, frozen solid.
Yeah.
Wind chills in the single digits. This week's brutal snow, ice, and wind responsible for more than 60 deaths across the country. And it's been a
60.
Nightmare on the roads.
Yesterday it was 55, now it's 60. Yesterday it was 55, now it's 60. It's going up.
Here in Philadelphia, some cars have yet to be cleaned on roads that have yet to be plowed. Real concern as roads ice over, leading to even more treacherous terrain. On a scale of 1 to frigid, how cold are you?
I'm close to frigid, honestly.
We've got poles all up and down this route.
Look at that.
Getting pounded.
Look at that. I mean, the United States, it's serious. I mean, this is going off.
Too. In Oregon, ice and wind down trees and cut power lines.
cut power lines as well.
Back in the
Blackouts
Northeast,
across
the
the
Buffalo
nations.
area, buried in more than 3 feet of snow after 8 straight days of storms. Today, Bills fans once again digging out Highmark Stadium ahead of tomorrow's matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs.
We're willing to help whatever it takes for our team, you know.
And part of the South won't be spared either, with near record lows forecast tonight in places like Bryson City, North Carolina, Greenville, Mississippi, and Myrtle Beach.
George Solis is in Philadelphia. George,
Hey, serious.
when can we expect some relief from these frigid temperatures?
Yeah, Jose, the hope is that snow piles like this one don't go any larger as these bitter temperatures and this cold weather is expected to move out of the Northeast by Monday. Jose?
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
By Monday, guys. I mean, it's going down. It's going down. By Monday. On Monday, it's supposed to go down, which is good. But it is seriously one thing that's been pressing, or lately. It's serious. It's serious. It really is. Yeah. A lot going off there. Ooh. Erupting. Oh, but take a look at that. 4K erupting Semeru volcano in Java, Indonesia. They got a live stream going up right now about a volcano going off here. Want to watch that? Do you guys want to watch this instead of the Iceland one? Because I think honestly we'll do that. Because not that I don't want to watch the Iceland one, it's also important, but that one's already kind of, you know, happening, and they can contain that, you know, because they got modern things. But this is, you know, this is Indonesia here. We want to keep an eye on it, definitely. Take a look at that. Hear the sounds in the background as well. But apparently it's erupting. Has it been erupting, or is it like... Oh, it's erupting. Alright. Well, I guess we'll watch that. Just fell across that. There, updating the thing here for a second. 1 second, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry, we'll move on. Gonna edit the description. Right side. Afar TV. Afar TV. The stuff is cloud, known as fluff here. It's the pale smoke, gas, or steam. So it hasn't gone off yet, but apparently they're saying it's erupting. That'd be interesting to see. I mean, that would be interesting to just pop it on. Nonchalantly seeing. Oh, look at that. That 350,000 people in Berlin have demonstrated against Putin's puppets in Germany. ADF can be ruled by Russia, but not a democratic Germany. That's what we're talking about, Germany. Fuck the commies. Yeah, that's right. Fuck the commies. Fuck them all. Well, you're not literally, but you know. U.S. Central Command has put out a statement here. U.S. CENTCOM status update on missing U.S. Navy SEALs. What? We get to announce that after a 10 days exhausted search of over 2 missing U.S. Navy SEALs that have not been located and their status has been changed to deceased. The search and rescue operation for 2 Navy SEALs reported missing during the boarding of an illicit Dhow carrying Iranian advanced conventional weapons January 11th concluded, and we are now conducting recovery operations. Doing this expensive search operation, airborne and naval platforms from the U.S., Japanese, and Spanish, or U.S., Japan, and Spain, continuously search more than 21,000 square miles to locate our missing teammates. Search assistance was also provided by Fleet Numerical Meteorology and Ocean Ocean. Oh my god, dyslexicness. Anyways, doesn't matter. Move on with that one. Center in the U.S. Coast Guard Atlantic Area Command, University of San Diego, Scripps Institute of Ocean Oh my god, it's because those two words, what's that called? It's like it's ocean. I'm not English. It's oceanography, or ocean graph. It's like, yeah, no. And the Officer of Naval Research, Graphic, I guess, support out of respect for the families. No further information will be released at this time. We mourn the loss of our two naval special warfare warriors, and we will forever honor their sacrifice and example of our prayers, and then with their Navy SEALs families, and the SEALs families friend the U.S. Navy and the entire Special Operations community during this time, said General Michael Eric Cooley, U.S. CENTCOM commander. Goddamn. Oh, 1K likes there. Well, Navy SEAL down. Navy SEAL down. 2 Navy SEALs down. I thought they were unkillable machines. Ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. In the temporarily occupied part of Kherson region, Russian invaders killed a teenager. Of course they did. I think they killed a butt. I tell you what, I'm sorry to tell you, but they've killed a lot more than a teenager. You know? I'm sorry to tell you, but they've killed a lot more than a teenager. The Iranian soldier who shot and killed at least 5 of his fellow soldiers in army barracks in the city of Kerman earlier today has reportedly now been arrested by Iranian security forces near the city of Serant in southeastern Iran. I talked about that earlier. If you were here earlier in the stream, we actually mentioned that, and they've just captured the guy, or at least brought him in, something like that. Nikki Haley on Trump. If you have to lie to win, you don't deserve to win. Well, that's true. That is true. Tell you what. She's got something on. No. I know what you... No. I know what you're saying. But no. She's on to something. Yeah. It's almost like Donald Trump is lying to become U.S. president. Yeah. Man who's never famously been to any European country. I mean, I think he's been to Europe before. Obviously, he has. But I doubt the fact that he's been to many European countries. I don't know if he is. I think he was in Denmark once. Was he? I don't know. But it's not a great time. It's an interesting time. Yeah. Just going through right now. See if there's anything sort of things right now. No. There's not really anything else to tell you guys. How many? In 1 minute, 1 hour, 120 minutes. All right. Yep. Very soothing sound. This. Can you hear it? I don't know if you can. Very soothing. You know, it's very soothing just until it erupts. Like this sound right here, it's so soothing right now until it until it erupts. It's a volcano for anybody who's coming in. It's here you have it. Erupting Semuro volcano in Java, Indonesia. Yeah, please read the description. Get some more. The camera is situated about 8 kilometers southeast of the volcano near looking. The sound is live from the camera's source. Semuro is the highest volcano in Java, 3,676 meters or 12,000 feet. Okay, and one of its most active lies at its southern end of volcano massive extending north to Tingar Caldera. The stet-sided volcano, also referred to as Maramure, or Great Mountain, rises above the coastal plain to the south. Gunung Semur was constructed south of the overlapping Eject, and Jambangan Candelres. A lot of names. A line of lake fills Mars was constructed along a NS trend, cutting through the summit, and cinder cones and lava domes occupy the eastern and northeast flank summit. Holy shit. I don't know where any of this is. But large lava flows dominating with occasionally lava flows and large explosion eruptions accompanied by pyroclastic flows that was reached the lower flanks of the volcano. There you have it. Occasionally it erupts with high explosions and a lot of lava. Interesting. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Link to this is in the description as well as this one over here. You might need to refresh your page if you want to get the link for this one, because it might, for you, if you haven't refreshed it yet, it might still be the old one that we had before. So just want to say that.
In Israeli,
We're going down.
this ground.
Okay, Trey Inks has posted something 4 hours ago. 229 seconds. We'll watch this here. This is Trey Inks live from, not live, but you know he's in Israel. So here you have it, or Gaza. Sorry.
An Israeli gunner scans the windows of a building in Han Yunis as troops move toward the front lines of the Gaza Strip. In the heart of a civilian neighborhood, Israeli tanks maneuver through the dirt, with firefights in the distance.
You can hear there, Israeli forces are battling Hamas militants just blocks away.
In the basement of a nearby home, the entrance to what can only be described as hell below earth.
So we're going down now 20 meters underneath the ground, down to the tunnel, down to the prison. This is where they took the hostages when they led them to the prison.
Dark and sweltering corridors are illuminated by torchlights and headlamps. Crouched but advancing, we move carefully through the labyrinth of tunnels.
Right now we're deep under Gaza's second largest city of Han Yunis. Israeli forces behind me remain on high alert. They've not yet been able to clear this maze of tunnels.
In a large room, we find pots and pans. Alongside baby diapers are the tubes Hamas used to store rocket-propelled grenades. Further into the complex, small cells with iron doors match the description of where released hostages say they were held.
We found here hair We found here children's drawings. We found here DNA. This is verified to be a hostage cell, a hostage compound.
Back above ground, amid the sounds of war, we get a closer look at Han Yunis. Recent analysis says around 50% of all buildings in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. Countless vulnerable Palestinians left without homes or shelter. And as the war moves further south, Gazan civilians are running out of places to go.
This is why, in the north, we called the population almost 3 weeks before we entered into the area to move to a safer zone, because at least there will be less casualties.
Yeah, but saying, I mean, listen, saying you're gonna, oh yeah, let's move to a safer location. Where? I'm gonna take the side of everyone here, but seriously, saying like, oh, move to a safer location. But where? Like, there's nothing left. There's few square kilometers, and you're flying bombs over this area. You're dropping bombs, but where? You know, it's ridiculous.
Israel has targeted that zone as well.
Of course, because in the north there was a huge tunnel system.
With a growing humanitarian crisis for Palestinian civilians, Israeli forces are expected to lower the intensity of their campaign in the coming weeks. Arthel?
Excellent report, Trey Inks. Thank you, Trey.
I mean, that's, you know, like, yeah, oh yeah, we told them to move safe area. When they told them to move from the south to the north, sure. But now, the IDF forces are telling the 2.1 million people, or millions of people, however many million are there right now, in this very cramped area, to move somewhere safer. Okay. Where? Because you've destroyed 50% of the people in there. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those like, oh, this was unjustified. Listen, the Hamas attack was a serious one on October 7th. Do they have the right to defend themselves? Sure. But the handling of this war, at this point, let's just be honest with ourselves. They've won. They've expelled Hamas. Why not move this to a less less of a bombing and more of a special forces operations with smaller weapons to spare the human life? Where are the IDFs going to move to? Sorry, the Palestinians. They can't be let out the border. Egypt doesn't want to let them out the border. So, where? Saying, oh, move somewhere safer. Where's that? Where's safer? I'm just saying. Like, saying move somewhere safer, like, you know, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. I mean, this is a rough map. This is all taken, by the way. This one right here, they keep saying, oh, it's live, but it's not. This is all taken. We know that. I can confirm that. Half of this area here, they're working for this area right now. A lot of this area here is also taken. A lot of this area is also taken. They're bombing these areas here and here. You can see bombings there and there and there. So the only safe area that they're saying, oh, this they could stay somewhere else would be here. You want 2.1 something million people to stay in the square area of this sector right here. I mean, that'd be very cramped. It was already cramped in the first place. But I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? I think the handling of this war, to start with, may have made some sense. I mean, there were operations, but this idea of like, we'll take out senior Hamas leaders no matter where they are. Like, it's like, okay, sure, but do you need to bomb, you know, like a civilian area to take out, you know, a leader? Couldn't you just have waited for him to move somewhere else? Or could you have used special forces or waited by not taking him out, like waited a little bit longer so you could use special forces to take him out? I'm not a genius on military advancements or movement, but as far as I understand, you could have done some other stuff. I mean, at this point, what's the point? You know, you've destroyed 50% of all the houses in Palestine, in Gaza. I mean, and then you're still telling people to move somewhere more safe, which is ridiculous. But I'm just saying, you know, I mean, it's, you know, I'm not like one of those staunch, like, oh, I support everything. I'm like, no. I'm just being realistic here. You also have to be realistic with yourself, you know? The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, or whatever his name is, has reportedly rejected the deal to present by Hamas to end the war and return all Israel hostages, with the deal stating that Israel Defense Forces must withdraw from Gaza Strip and leave Hamas with its power and authority. Now, I can understand that deal with, you know, withdrawing from Gaza and leave Hamas with its power and total authority. I can understand that he wouldn't want to accept that deal. I mean, you couldn't let Hamas continue to control Gaza. But I also do push for the end of this war, so we can avoid the bloodshed of these millions of people who still live in this small area. And a two-state solution. But Hamas needs to go, no doubt. You know, no doubt. That's interesting. Anyways, listen. I am gonna leave now. This stream is over. I'm gonna leave now. We are done with the stream here. Thank you so much for stopping by today. We gone through pretty much what I wanted to go through. There's not much anything else. I guess we could just go into Deep State real quick. Check it out before we go. See if there's any movement. Down here. Some movement. Over there. The Ukrainians took back some land. Not a lot, but they definitely took it back. Look at that. They're still operating over here. But I don't know completely. I don't know exactly how much. Looks like they've just started some kind of campaign to try and push from these sites and try and push out. There are probably some kind of Ukrainian advancements right here. Maybe. They're probably going to be located mostly in forest areas. That's what I'm imagining. I mean, if it was you, you'd probably locate yourself mostly in forest areas. I mean, a lot of this is forest. Look at that. They've claimed that back there. That they dropped over the bridge there. As far as we understand, that bridge is destroyed. Yeah. There you have it. Alright, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being here. And we will see you tomorrow with another stream.